Not after those stories.
I promise. I'm a good person.
Yeah,
Not after those
she's
stories.
sweet, except for if someone if she gets afraid, she'll just start punching people.
She's like a cat in the corner. Just start scratching you, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right. So today's really quick. Any of you guys, if you finished the green screen, I know Mel said she did. If anyone else did, welcome to do it today. Any of the previous things, like the scene mimic, the first one we did, or the storyboard, or anything that you weren't able to show us before, we can do it today, because we're just going to go over this really quick thing, and then that's pretty much it. So the first thing I want to say is that we have our shooting schedule project and our second scene mimic that's due on the 9th of August. So that's 2 weeks from now. 9th of August, that's a Monday. It's of 2 weeks.
2 weeks, guys.
And we're reminding everyone, so I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. We didn't know.
Every single week. I don't want to hear it. I don't remember that. You didn't say that.
Exactly. And then
feel my wrath if you
we were
do.
talking about the hold on, someone's trying to join. This thing will get out of the way.
Unless you never came to any of the meetings and that was like the first meeting you came.
Okay, I'm gonna email and text. Are you gonna actually do the project?
I'm gonna try my best.
Oh,
really?
Sure. I'll send you a text.
I'm gonna make an attempt. I'm gonna make an attempt.
When do you want when would you want the reminder?
So I'm at Starbucks on the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
I'll give you a call when I have to leave.
Well,
What?
You
I
cut
don't
off
think
at
she was
the
talking-
end.
I don't think she was talking to us, was she?
Oh,
No.
Sarah was having internet issues, so she asked me to I'm gonna put her on speakerphone,
Oh.
but she's on
Gotcha.
Starbucks right now.
Okay, cool.
So you changed it to Slated Films and Photography.
No, it's because I'm on my computer.
Oh, okay.
I can't change it for some reason. Won't let me change it at all.
Gotcha. All right, so yeah, shooting schedule, scene mimic, August 9th. Also, we were talking about the day out of days report. I went ahead and made one. I'll send that to you guys with
Thank
today's
you.
recording. Oh, Jorge's coming in, cool. And you guys can have that.
Dude report?
Huh? Yep. DOOD.
Okay.
Day out of days. It's just the report you use when you say like which characters.
We discussed it on Thursday, so if you want to like watch it and recap, that was a pretty quick meeting.
Yeah, that one's pretty quick too. All right, and then the next thing on Thursday, we're gonna do we're gonna talk about the short film we're planning to do. Which, by the way, anyone who was planning to come and be part of the short film or do it from like a virtual, I think Mel, we still need an email from you, Steven.
Oh, I thought I had. Dang, did I not hit send on that?
I'm not sure. We got something from Sarah, Brent, Raphael. We need you to send it too, I believe.
I wasn't sure how to reply. Honestly, I didn't want to send out an email and notify everyone.
So we got
notifying us, not anyone else.
Yeah, it only arrives us. So I got.
I have it registered as sent. For the initial email, talking about the doing short film if we could be in person or remotely.
Oh yeah, the initial one. Priscilla sent out another email because we're trying to put together like a pre-production thing just to see if everyone's reliable to come to the meeting before we actually get into it.
Did you not?
Okay, so you sent another one. Okay.
Yeah, Priscilla sent an email. It's just asking when you guys are available either this week or next week for the people who would actually either come or do it virtually to the short film next semester so that we can make sure you guys actually, make sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
having a production meeting and everybody actually comes on time, that kind of thing.
So Stephen, Raphael, Chisom, and I think, and John and James. Those are the ones that haven't responded yet. Oh, did Arden respond?
Yes, no, I did not.
I think Arden was gonna. I never received a email from.
I didn't check my email yesterday.
Yeah, the people who have responded have been Sarah, Brent, and V so far.
Has there been a date lockdown yet?
No, just like this is just like a general like pre-production thing, just to make sure everybody is able to.
So we can have an idea.
And like
yeah.
come to a production meeting for the ones who've already said that they are willing to come. Daniel, I don't know if did you email us that you were?
Yeah, I did email you. I did say, remember, like I told you guys and I emailed you guys and I messaged you guys.
I don't.
Honey, you must
remember
he must have emailed your email then, because I don't have anything.
I'll have to check again, but yeah.
Yeah.
I only got emails from like 7
later.
people, so.
I'm sorry. We'll check again.
But yeah, it's just to like just to
Losing
go over
my
that.
mind
And then
because
on
I've-
Thursday, we're gonna just like kind of discuss the short film with everyone, whoever's interested. And then we're also gonna do the little like quiz where we're asking questions in order of like whoever's on the screen, and we'll just go through everybody asking the different questions from throughout the semester. See if you guys, everyone can,
Wait.
get remember all the things that we've learned. And if not, it's always good to get a refresh.
So yeah, Stephen, Raphael, and Mel are the Stephen, Raphael, Mel, and James. Those are the ones that haven't responded yet.
like
All right.
Arden was another group. I'm sorry.
and
Dan, would you like me to send you the email as well? It's basically just explaining what we would do either this week or the next. It's like a little mini meeting.
It's basically just to make sure everybody's coming on time and they're reliable with if they agree to it.
It's just so
if
we
they say they're
talk-
able to come, make sure they're able to come before we even try to get to a real one.
And
Yeah, it's
sorry
just
if I'm late. I actually didn't realize what time it was. I opened my eyes. I was passing out, and I'm like, I looked at the time, like, crap.
no, it's fine. Let me see. Two.
Hey, Jorge, how you doing?
You guys still have my link that I sent you last week for the green.
Hey guys, I didn't want to interrupt.
Hey, George.
It's
Hey, Jorge, what's going on?
How's it going, guys?
going pretty good.
Good. How have you
Almost
been?
done.
How's it going, Daniel?
Learned a bunch of stuff.
Tired. Very,
How have you
very
been?
tired. But I've been playing with that equipment a lot.
Fantastic.
So many tripods.
Nice.
Mhm.
It came into very good, very useful last week.
Yeah, they're amazing.
So
It's nice to
Coda,
see you guys.
you too. Have you been good? How have you been?
Yes, always good.
Anything
You
good.
ask him has he been good? Yo, you
He
made me
doesn't
feel
live He doesn't
like
live
he's a
that far
bad
from
boy.
me.
No, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
We actually
Has
met
he
up
been-
about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, we met, and it was a business transaction what we made.
Cool.
Yeah, we got my
Yeah, I
money.
got some equipment that I was selling.
Someone came out of it
And,
richer. That's always good.
And I got
Yeah,
some.
but we both came out richer in different aspects, but
Yeah.
it was profitable for the both of us. Yeah, I have some equipment that I'm selling that is quite new. So because I'm just turning in my whole video production focus into something else, which is more compact. So I still have I have a drone that is basically new, and it's
It might be
that I'm not going to be
interesting
using.
to drone,
So
Oh wow.
Mm.
Well, do you have like a list of your
So,
stuff anywhere that you're selling?
yeah, I still
Yeah.
have a couple of lights and the drone, which is the Mavic Mini, the Mini 2, the DJI Mini 2, which is amazing
Nice.
because it weighs less than 250 grams, and right now you don't need. Well, I don't need a license to fly it. Of course, being careful with where you fly it and stuff, but yeah, you don't even need to register that because it's so small that it has no problem.
Nice.
So
Nice.
but
You just send
but
that
yeah,
list.
it's cool. I really didn't get into that. But yeah, I still have some gear. I have a couple of lights. I
Yeah,
have
me and Lakota gonna buy
the,
some from you.
that and the
Awesome.
stabilizer. I have it's a Scion crane too.
Mhm.
and
Really?
it's basically new, the whole thing. So I'm gonna send the list to Lakota. Maybe he can just move around. The thing is, remember that I'm we're in Canada, Daniel and I.
Right.
So I don't know if you.
We'll meet you at the border.
I
We'll come to Niagara Falls, and you just meet us over
yeah,
there.
but you're actually in New York, right?
I'm in New Jersey, but not far.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like an
of
hour.
course. Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
that's very close. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there could be like something to do. But yeah, definitely. We can
Yeah,
definitely
cool.
talk about that.
Yeah.
How's the studio going?
It's going well.
All
Like,
right.
we're pretty much done. All we have, this is like the last day that we have something new, which is just a real quick cast and crew contact list, which is just pretty big. And then after that, it's just like discussing next semester, going over the entire semester, this semester, and then just general discussions and like watching everybody's next projects really.
That's super cool. I hear that you're making a film.
Yeah, so we're planning to do a short film next semester around November or December.
Oh, that's
Around
super
like the
cool.
New York, New Jersey area. So we were asking everybody, and we
It's
sent
gonna
out
be-
email to everybody and stuff.
It's going to be like a smaller script, just a simple thing, just for us to get our hands wet kind of thing. Have some
Cool.
fun.
Cool.
Yeah, so we look forward to
Have you written it yet?
Yeah, it's based on a one room project we did in the screenwriting small group, and it would be
Okay.
my script. So
And just get your
Okay.
feet wet.
like I was
not
wanting to send it
hands.
to everybody. We'll talk about it more like Thursday, but I was gonna show everybody the script and see what everyone thinks and if there's any improvements that can be made, because I'm sure
Yeah.
hopefully.
That's cool, guys.
Yeah, like we said, just something to get us started would be really fun, and so next time we might even be able to go to the West Coast and stuff like that. Here's hoping.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So next semester, that's next year, right?
No, next semester is this
No.
fall.
Oh, so that you're gonna be making the film this fall?
Yeah, we plan to do it either this November or this December.
Oh, wow. Because when I first responded, I thought it was next year, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing that far out. I might actually be able to make it if it's this year.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh,
Yeah, because I was asking like I figured you were just saying it because that was like 4 or 5 months out, so you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, I probably can I make it this year, so I'll look into that and make sure and send you an email about it. And I just responded to that email as well to Priscilla.
okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay, so Sarah's on speakerphone on my phone.
Hey, Sarah.
Somehow we're gonna get this to work.
Hey, Sarah.
So do you still have my link I sent you last week?
Yeah, it's on the WhatsApp, honey. Do you want me to send it to you via Messenger so you can show it later
What is it?
for the green screen thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that next. Let me just go through this thing real quick. So this is a crew contact list. You can also do a cast and crew contact list. But you want to be sure you don't give out that information to everybody. Just like the call sheet, you want to make sure that the main people, if you have hired names, like for your director, your cinematographer, or your actors are big names, you don't want to just hand it out to anybody. You want to keep it private, and you also want to make sure that they're okay with it being given out to everyone, or if it's okay with just like certain people. But really, it's just you need to give this information to the department heads and all of that, and have a list, just kind of concise, like something like this. It doesn't have to be that format. It can be something more like that. Or if Studio Binder has one sort of like that too. And you just put their information, their email, their number, and what their position is. You divide it by the department they're in, and then their name. And some people said it's a good idea to put, which I agree, to put their picture next to their name. That way, whoever you're giving it to, they're easier to remember their names for you, and they're easier for everyone to notice who everyone is on set. So that if it's like, go talk to the director of photography about that, and they don't know who that is, they can look at the cast and crew list and look at it and see the director of photography's face next to his name, and then they're like, oh hey, Chris, if that's the name, then they can go up to Chris and know what he looks like, so it's easier for them too. But it's really just to keep everybody's information in case somebody doesn't show up to set or you need to contact them for any reason whatsoever. You have their information, and the department heads usually need the information of certain departments and all of that. So you want to just give everybody's information out to everyone, except for, like I said, if you have higher names that you don't want to give out to certain people, then you just keep that for the main, like director and producers and stuff like that. But yeah, you just collect it all in one place, group them by department project, and add photos to make it easier to remember who's who. And then when you're done with that project, you can use these and create like a bigger list of people. I have something similar to this where it's just a list of people I've known, I've been in contact with, or that I've worked with. And that way I have a bigger list in case I need a director of photography. I can look at the past directors of photography I've worked with, or the people that wanted to be a director of photography. And I can reach out to them for the next project. Or I can reach out to them and say, hey, if you guys need anything, I'm available, stuff like that. So you always want to keep the information of everyone you meet. If they give out their information to you, you want to make sure to keep it, because you never know how big they're going to get, if they need you next time, if they're going to send out some kind of project, or if you need them on something. So these kinds of lists are a good way to keep all that information in one place. Anybody have any questions or comments?
For me, it's like usually if I'm gonna have someone on set for sure, I will basically make it so they have to, like, once they see the thing, they send it back to me with their cyber censure. This is just my preference.
Their cyber what?
Censure, like their
signature.
their John Hancock, or whatever you want to call it. They sign it just to make sure they saw the form, they know what time, and then they send it back to me.
Yeah. Well, this is just for like you to have their information, or for like everyone else to have each other's information, because they're all going to be in contact with each other. If you have a production assistant, they need to have people.
I'm not awake.
Contact.
I read something totally different.
Gotcha.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah. Go ahead.
So, honey, I sent you Sarah and Mel's shot lists, I believe, that they didn't that they also finished, and Daniel's green screen thing. Mel's green screen thing, she said she attempted it. I don't have it, so it's probably with her.
You want to do yours?
Yeah, I was just gonna share my screen.
Okay, yeah, do that. Do that one first.
Remember, it's just a little exercise. It doesn't have to be like grade A level. It's just to give like us an idea of how much work
you're able to share it.
And
Oh, okay. So yeah. I want to see the green screen then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where's the share screen option? Somewhere here. How did I get? Where is? Oh, here we go. Okay. Screen share.
okay.
Is that working?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Can you see this?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to put it into full screen. Let me know if it goes into full screen.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So my idea was like this kind of like post-apocalyptic kind of scenario. So yeah, I did not give myself a lot of time to attempt this, but so this is my attempt. Things that I would do differently, or I noticed that the gas mask that I wore had kind of a reflective surface, so a bit of it on the left side is reflecting. Oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, this is like a one-man band thing, so I just kind of let the camera autofocus.
I love those goggles.
Thank you. I won them at a raffle.
Cool.
I would say use hairspray on the shiny parts and it would get rid of the shine.
Yeah, good idea. Okay, so I'm gonna play it. So I did, oh, and I can put it on, I can put it on loop. Yeah, it's on loop. So I just kind of let the camera autofocus on that. So then you can see this is what the green screen looked like. So one thing that I didn't anticipate was that the scarf that I had over my head was kind of see-through. So there's a bit in between the goggle eye and the mask that went through. So I'll try and wear something thicker next time.
Well, that's a good effect because it shows that it makes it so it's more of a 3D appearance.
Yeah, like, well, for instance, I think the clear glass part, I think that worked really well. Of the clear glasses that are like on top of the goggles.
Sometimes
it just looked reflective.
Very careful though with that type of thing. Because people reveal the green screen.
Yeah, if I can just fudge the settings more to get it more to look like it's going through it.
Yeah.
But I think as it is, it does look pretty decent. It's mainly the
by yourself.
Yep.
Like, that's really hard to do. So.
Oh yeah, no, I put like a marker on the floor for where I should stand. Yeah. And another thing that I remembered after I did this is that like, because I do a fast motion with my hand going up like really fast, I probably should have adjusted the shutter speed because there is some like motion blur with that. And I was noticing that it kind of, it like kind of cuts off.
Yeah, the lighting can be like a little.
So you can also see like when you raise your hand and it refocuses, it does kind of like take away part of your head on the edges. Like right there.
Yeah, that was interesting. And also when it refocuses, it kind of changes the lighting. Like I look brighter in the background.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the camera settings were doing with that.
Yeah, we had to mess with our lighting so hard to get it. Like I think we did it like a bunch of times.
But yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, all I did with the lighting was I let some like natural light come in through the window. I think I had an overhead light and I put a light like behind me, coming like pointing upward so that I wouldn't be casting a shadow against it.
Yeah.
But
yeah. having like anything to do with your like helmets or hats is really hard because my winter hat was like hitting light against everything. It was really annoying. We did like 20 takes with you.
Yeah.
Remove it because
I also adjusted. So like I also like this was in I did this in Sony Vegas, so I used the chroma keyer to edit out the green screen, and then I did like a color corrector effect to make my lighting look more dark for the dark background.
Matches a lot more. You can tell.
And I made the background blur when I shifted the blur.
Yeah. So the thing that I would probably just like dimension wise, maybe you're a little bit too big compared to the background.
No, you can be close to the camera. Like
yeah, I mean, I'm close to the camera. Like if you can see kind of below the title, there is a bit like there's a chasm and then like it's supposed to be a chasm and then but I'm on the far side. I'm on the close side of
like, I would say because how dark it is, the reflective surfaces stand out a lot when it's dark.
Yeah, so if you look down there, there's some ground like below where the left side of the mask is.
How hard was it for you to like key everything?
Did you actually have your own green screen?
Yeah, I used so I just used I used 4 pieces of poster board so you can kind of see the edges, but it wasn't really a problem. The edges weren't and so you can see that the like green is kind of like a bit of a different shade toward the bottom because I did have that light coming up from the bottom in order to make myself not cast a shadow on it. But that was mostly fine. I did do a little bit. So yeah, it took like maybe like I like played around. I played around with it for like 15 minutes probably. And I did a little bit of a fancy when my hand was up here. You can see on the edge of my hand there is some green kind of going on.
Oh, like on your finger.
Some spill.
Yeah, like on the knuckles. And so I did do a little bit of when it got to that when it got to that point, I did do a little bit of masking because you can see towards the knuckle that's closest to the bottom of the screen, there's a bit of a halo.
Yeah.
I was trying to, so I did actually do a little bit of masking work to mask that out because it was a little uneven.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing that I've learned from it is just, for example, like we did a few different takes, and because the green screen wasn't just right, he would have to like key it in a more complex way and like take longer with it and have to like even everything out, kind of like one of the videos we showed where he had to like put the person push the person to the corner of an image instead, and all that kind of stuff, and it was super hard and took so much longer to do, so we had to do it all over again. And if there's anything that I've like learned from the whole experience, is keying is hard. Like
Yes,
it's so hard.
What program did you guys use?
We used Adobe Premiere Pro.
Yeah, I have Premiere, and I think Premiere's keying is better than Sony Vegas, but I just was I'm still kind of in the process of getting a new computer, so I just have Vegas on this laptop that I'm using.
But
I'd use After Effects if I was gonna do like if I was going to use it for something in like a movie or a short film, but I just used Premiere Pro to get it done within the same program.
I mean, Premiere Pro, like the Ultra key is pretty good. I've used it before.
I think like the main thing for Jorge that's coming in now, the main thing that we learned from it is just because we wanted to show the how hard green screen actually is, and that you shouldn't rely on it for everything, because a lot of people end up doing that.
Yes.
And the complexities that it actually takes, and the steps that you have to go. So we researched a lot about like everything about green screen, and I sent a few videos out, and we had like this little exercise where we each tried to do like a green screen exercise, so we could just dabble with it and have an idea, like a small idea of everything that actually goes into it.
Oh, also the goggles that I were wearing, like they had a dark green tint to them, and that didn't seem to pose a problem really. So that was cool.
Do they? They look brown.
Well, exactly. It just doesn't really show up that they on the camera it doesn't show, but the glass part of the goggles themselves are green, like a very, very dark green. So
Rafael is asking, what's a poster board?
Like it's just I think when we initially brought up the whole green screen project, I think Daniel said like, you know, you can just get poster board at a dollar store, which is what I did. It's just like thick paper.
No, like wait, did you just get a green poster board for the background?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
I just got 4 sheets, and I like carefully lined them up. So you can still kind of see like the edges of them, but it didn't end up affecting.
I didn't think of that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they did, but I mean that's also why it was so close though, was because it was hard. Like they didn't go out that far, so I had to be kind of that close.
That was the issue we ran into when we were doing ours.
Filmmaking, gotta love it.
We had to use like a pretty close. I think did we use an 85? Honey?
Yeah, 85.
Yeah,
lens.
we had to use an 85 so that I could be as far from the green screen as possible, and I think it still had some spill in certain areas. I was just like.
Yeah, it's hard.
It was just at that point the green screen was like not covering the entire edge, so I had to zoom her in and all sorts of stuff. So.
Well, and also like as long as if you're okay doing like a little bit of masking, as long as the entire subject is within the green screen, then you can just the issue is just parts outside.
The issue is making that masking blend in properly, because I feel like it's so easy to.
Yeah, because the other problem with ours is when we had the snow, it was a lot easier to tell there was something going on because it got a little darker. So I ended up using like the whole part that was beside the trees for the green screen, because then you don't notice. But when I did like a garbage mat around it on a certain part, one part would be brighter white for the background that was the green screen part, and then the other part would be a little darker because of the key. Even though it was like barely noticeable if you didn't have the snow behind it. So it is also easier, I think, and smarter to use darker spots if you're going to do green screening as well, if you can.
Yeah, probably.
As the white does really, it was harder for us to figure out how to get the white to look right.
Good night, Raphael.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna stop
But
sharing.
yeah.
But also, oh yeah, the I think also like the metal of the special eyeglass part was kind of reflective too. I did have to play around in order to have that not you can see kind of the tip is fading out.
I'm just like, how are you not dying in that?
How am I not?
'Cause
Oh,
you
it was fairly warm, yeah.
Yeah, you had no AC. I was in
Take
like
care,
a
guys. I gotta go.
I mean, I have a ceiling
Bye,
fan.
Bye, have a good night.
Oh, good night. I do have a ceiling fan.
Yeah, I had to do it in like a winter coat, and I have AC, and I was still sweating. I don't know.
So yeah, that was like a thin. It was mostly hot in the mask itself. So that was like I said, that was a pretty thin scarf on me, and I was just wearing a tank top underneath.
Okay, and
So,
are those?
it was
Oh,
fine.
Oh, it
Cool.
looks awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of look cool.
Yeah.
And then we have Daniel, right? You said that to me, honey?
Yes, I did.
It's
Is it this Dropbox thing?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had. There was a whole freaking winter coat, and I was going to put the gloves and the what do you call scarf, but I was dying. I couldn't.
Yeah, because that.
Yeah,
What
that's
is
something
that?
you gotta consider, like when you're scheduling your shoot, like what is
It's a
the
sock?
temperature gonna be like?
Yeah, we talked about that in one of our meetings too, and like have extra clothes for if you're an extra, especially like to change out of when you're done with the winter scene and stuff like that. Like, whew,
Yeah, like
put
you know
on
the
the
show,
jacket,
like
take off jacket.
I
Put on
think you guys
jacket,
have
take
said
off
that you I think you guys have said that you watched the show Psych.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, you know, it's supposed to be set in Santa Barbara, but they film it in Canada. And I've actually
Yeah.
been to the place where they film it. And it's not warm there, but they make them dress up in like beach wear
Oh my.
very frequently.
Yeah.
And like if you look really close, you can see that like what they're wearing it like often is like a thick material. So like it looks like it's warm clothes, but it's deceptively thick.
That's interesting. I'll notice that. I did notice that the police station looks very fake in some scenes. The hell?
Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Don't just stare. Jump inside.
Is that Sarah?
Yeah. Oh, so this is Sarah's?
I think this is Sarah. Sarah, were you on a drug trip?
look who just popped in.
Daniel.
Ah, cameo!
What happened?
It called to me.
It called to you.
The portal, it called my name.
It called your name. All right.
You don't believe me?
I believe you.
Good.
It's nice to see you. In Toronto, I guess?
Same to you. What are you up to?
I'm just eating some chips. You want some?
Sure.
I'm gonna kill her now.
You didn't
She
have
stole
to throw
Daniel's
me
chips.
so hard.
Oh, I thought she stole Daniel's chips. It's like, at least I got the chips.
I think it was
Well,
just
that
as she
was
was about
fun.
to grab them.
Yeah.
Evil sock puppet from another dimension. that was cool.
Yeah,
It's great you
That
got
was
to collaborate.
awesome.
Clap, yeah.
You skipped the dance for the sock man.
There's
There was a
dance?
dance?
What?
Have you guys ever seen Piranaconda?
What? The video?
It's a great title.
It's a movie that I think that's on Netflix.
Piranaconda?
Piranaconda.
Oh God! And I thought Sharknado was stupid.
But we just could. I was very busy, and like we just got all this stuff shot. It's
No, I thought your shot ideas were really cool. Especially like her going through the portal was really cool. It looked
I
really
love the sock snake. It's amazing.
Piranaconda. Okay, wait. What is a Piranaconda?
You're gonna have to watch the film.
I looked it up.
Oh God. Okay.
like we definitely were. I had to resize my whole hand because it was too close. It was too close to the camera, so I had to resize it. So I had to edit that like 5 times.
Which when you were in the puppet or when you were
when I was
reaching for the
reaching out
chips?
with the chips.
Oh, okay.
That was cool though. You guys
Yeah,
did a
cool
really
idea,
good
guys.
job. Yeah.
Yeah, we did a teamwork effort.
Yeah, you did really good.
And there's a story to it too. So
Yeah, that was cool.
What did you- what
I
did you
think I
use
would
for
say
your
that's
green
a full
screen,
exercise.
Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What did you
Again,
what
they
did you end up
couldn't hear
using
you.
for green screen?
Although now I'm scared of sock puppets forever. So
But yeah, we basically just came up with a storyline. We basically got our scene shot, and she was technically on Zoom while we were doing that, and I was directing.
really,
So what did you guys use for the green screen parts?
I thought she put a camera and then sent you the scenes or whatever. But that's cool.
Like I was basically directing her over Zoom,
Cool.
and that's green screen right there. That's actually my living room.
Oh wow.
And then basically with the reaching out the sock, the portal, we basically used green screen effect on that.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think everything looks pretty darn good except for the hand, the other hand. That scene was a little
And-
janky, but everything else looks really
Well,
good.
The her crawling could have been a little more cleaned up.
I think for the colors, it would have been. She should be a little darker, but I like how you
Oh,
guys have
the
the light coming
lighting,
from the same
yeah.
side. The light source is coming from the left over here, and her face is lit up from the left.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
But
So maybe
again,
just like a little bit of lighting. But Daniel, really good job. Sarah, you guys did awesome. Sarah, you did really good.
Good job.
Sweet, thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
I said you killed it. It was really cool.
She said she appreciates that.
Yes.
And then there was also the sound effects that were very present in the film.
Yeah.
But
and
yeah, so I would only say like the lighting and that one scene with the hand was a little weird, but everything else I think blended in pretty well.
and I also had to like crop a little bit here and there. Like I like that shot. Like the close up,
Ah,
What?
the close up that we got on her face. I think that.
Oh
was
yeah, I
really
think that was
good.
really cool.
yeah, and it looks like those, like it looks like an actual, like not like like it looks like one of those movies you'd watch, you know, like Minutemen. It kind of looks like something out of Minutemen. Any OG Disney Channel fans out there?
I think it was before my time.
Oh man, that was 2008.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Then no. I just that doesn't ring a bell.
It wasn't
I
as
don't really
famous,
think I know what you're talking about either.
but it was like with Jason Dolly and the other two boys. Basically, like these 3 high schoolers that discover this time machine, but it creates a wormhole the more you use it.
That was
And-
Disney Channel?
Yeah, that was a Disney Channel.
I mean, wouldn't that be
Wait,
like around the
that's
same
familiar,
time as
yeah.
Phil of the Future?
I don't know.
Phil
Phil
of
of the
the
Future was like
Future.
2004.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe it was when I stopped watching Disney Channel.
That show got rushed off. film of the future.
Oh no, don't talk
They
about
used a lot of
still-
green screen in that show.
Yeah, and not always good, and not always good. But
I wanted to ask you guys, what was the most challenging part of filming this?
I would say just like my time. I would say for me, it would be my time schedule. I should have had more time to put into this. Like,
Honestly, the hardest part is just doing it to me. I mean, I always like get in my head about things and like make a bigger deal about things before I do them. So just getting it done, I think, is the most important facet. Right. Then it's like you have something, whether it's good or bad, so you'll be better at it.
Yeah, then you can learn from it.
Right.
I like the end when Sarah was like, "Oh, that was fun. Let's do it again." That was hilarious.
There'll be a sequel in the future, a sequel.
Yeah. Yes, let's do it.
Yes, please make it.
I can tell Jorge really likes the corny.
Maybe use a black socks next time. That white socks was just reflecting off of Sarah's face, like.
Oh, I thought you wanted some black sock representation, but okay.
No, the socks. Make it black.
But are you trying to be sexist?
No, but he's right.
He's
like,
asking how you guys got the sock to come through. So that would be like the edge of the screen on the left of and you just move the screen over, right?
Yeah, we basically that's where the green screen ended. It just like kind of flukily worked a little bit.
I do think Brett
Sarah,
has
did you have a green screen to use, or did you use like poster board like Mel did?
We both have our own green screens.
Oh, cool.
Like I have two.
Mel, green screens are expensive.
Well, no, not if they're poster board that you get at the Dollar Tree.
Okay.
So I have a green screen set up in my room, as you've seen, and then I have a 10 by 12 footer in my living room set up.
Cool.
They're not that expensive.
Yeah, but still, like I don't know, I'd cry if there was a hole through my green screen. I'm like, ah!
Just meet us at the border. We can borrow.
Like you could stick your hand through it and make it towards the screen. That'd be cool too.
Yeah, that would be.
We didn't
I
put
do
on
think
any green screen.
The problem would be reflection, right? Because then it's like right on the green screen.
Say, yeah, it does need to be even. I would say that Brent does have a point. I feel like a darker sock might reflect less because that sock is reflecting a lot.
We just came up with the creature last minute, so.
But it is cool. Like it reminds me of, well, it has nothing to do with it, but I don't know why I remember Terry Pratchett. Because like the story of the socks disappearing into like this alternate world.
He was right the first time when you said it don't remind you of anything. Yes, you were right.
But it reminds me because of the alternate dimension. So like all the socks that were that disappeared were actually sent to this alternate dimension, and then they became sentient, and now they're like.
You mean like the Twilight Zone?
Yes.
That's before your time.
If you've never read Terry Pratchett, it's kind of like a lot of. It's very weird. It's really cool. Like the stories remind you a little bit of the Twilight Zone in a way, but.
Isn't it crazy when you look back?
Wasn't Terry Pratchett a little more whimsical?
Yes, but it depends on the series.
Like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory kind
like
of
the older, he has
right.
He's written 70 books.
Well, like I don't know. I get the impression that like his writing is like a little absurd, like kind of like Douglas
oh my
Adams.
gosh, but it's so sarcastic though. It is so smart and clever and sarcastic. Even if it is like whimsical, it's a sarcastic take on these fairy tales. So it's very like.
The socks kind of remind me of
I love that.
Pop, if anything.
Yeah, it's very meta, especially the book. Like he wrote 70 something books in his lifetime, so every series is a little different. The Mort series is my favorite. If you guys have never read it, it's really cool.
The what series?
The Mort series. It's like Death's Apprentice. Death is like this cool.
Hey, Mama, come.
And he wants an apprentice, and then he ends up getting this useless farm boy that no one wants to hire for anything, and it's really cool. I really like it.
All right. Well, this is Mel's shot list for that project. Mel, would you like to go through it or?
Yeah. So I kind of use the template that like Studio Binder offers, the free template. And I just I modified it because that's something that I need to brush up on is lenses. I need to learn more on what those are. So I just didn't put that column in there.
Do you want me to send you some videos? I have some from like the first semester on lenses.
If they're in the syllabus, I can find them.
They're in the first semester syllabus. Do you want me to send it to you?
Oh, that'd be nice.
They're in this one. This one had that was at the beginning.
But like the basics on camera lenses and stuff.
Yeah, that was on this one.
This was on this one as well?
Unfortunately, I can't zoom in.
We didn't look it up last semester. Lenses wasn't on last semester.
Oh wait, I was looking up lenses. That's why I probably mixed them up. I was looking at lenses last semester.
Yeah, that'd be like the beginning of this semester we were looking into it. Somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Close the chat. Unfortunately, I can't zoom in on this, so it's kind of hard for me to see.
You have it on yours? You can just like share your screen if you want.
No, it'll probably be easier to do this. Yeah, no, I can mostly see it. I just did what I kind of saw was being done by the other people. Because what I did with my storyboard is that it was like 16 shots in total, but I did use them like I would cut back to them after other shots. So I just kind of assigned them like their numbers based on that. But then in the descriptions, I wrote what they would each be used for. So see, like the first shot, which is like the master shot, I wanted to use it like about 4 times to kind of like set up the scene, then a couple things within the scene, and then at the end. So I wrote like 4 different descriptions in the description thing, separated by semicolons for what each of those shots would be used for. Yeah, and so most of my shots were static. Oh my. What is that?
I don't know.
You're in an alternate dimension now.
Yes.
I just needed to get some food, so I put my phone on.
Yeah, if it's on speaker, then it can send a feedback.
That could have given an echo, yeah.
So most of my shots were static. Other than there were like a couple things where it would pull back, like this shot number 4. Like that was probably the most complicated shot I had the idea for, was that it would start with the hug, then she steps back, and it's like an MCU over the shoulder, but then when she walks away from him, then the camera would kind of pull back and follow her, leaving just Michael in the frame. So I wrote all of those things in there. I wrote close up and medium close up, and I wrote static and pull out, and for the dolly. So yeah, I think a dolly would be good. Oh, I did have a question, like how easy is it to get a dolly that moves in more than 2 directions?
You have to like set up your dolly over and over again, right?
Well, I guess I just mean like, can you use a dolly for if you want to do like a more complicated motion other than just back and forth?
Dolly out there that you can get that I actually own. Actually, let's see if I can show a picture of it.
And there's like dolly carts where you can put cart.
I'll send a link to the one I'm talking about. I own it. I got it for my birthday last year, so.
Yeah, because I guess what I mean is that I see a lot of things, like I see a lot of dollies like they're on a track. So in that case, they can only go in 2 directions.
Yes, what normally happens is that you have a dolly on a track, but there's a crane on top. There's a jib. So what happens is that you move the camera on the dolly, but you're also moving the crane sideways, so that gives a parallax effect.
Yeah, because the one thing that I wasn't sure if I could use a dolly for was the if you go down to shot number 11.
There you go. I just sent you one that actually can move any direction you want.
Oh, cool.
And you just attach your tripod to it.
Yeah, so for that shot number 11, I wanted, because when Michael was like starting to walk towards Arlene and she was freaked out and she was saying stay back, I wanted it to be kind of a tracking part of the scene where it's tracking him as he's moving closer, and then like to kind of track Michael until he rushes in to grab her, and then after he grabs her, then it'd be kind of like slowly coming in closer. So yeah,
Like from side to side and then push in, like dolly.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like I don't know, kind of like a diagonal maybe, and then yeah, like if it can pivot in any way, or I
The
mean
easiest
maybe
way to
since
do
it
that, to make that shot, would be to put it on a steady cam
Yeah.
or some sort of gimbal. So you don't have the bounciness of the dolly if you're going to be moving it around, and you don't have to rely on the evenness of the surface. So if you put it
Okay.
on a steady cam, that's easier because you're not going to be making complex shots. So I would recommend that. I mean, that's one way to do it, but I would recommend to put it on a steady cam, somebody with a gimbal, so you can create more like a fluid type of shot. And it's a one take what you're doing. It's a one shot. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gimbal is so much easier to use.
Okay. Yeah. I can't remember if that was an option.
This is the thing Daniel was talking about.
Ah.
It's like a tripod on wheels.
Wow.
Like you just attach your tripod to it, and then it basically you can use it as a dolly. It's pretty useful to have. I've used it for a lot of projects.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, but you do need
And-
to remember that has to be on an even surface, or else you're going to get bounce.
Just saying, if you
So-
just want a nice on a flat ground, if you just want a nice dolly to follow somebody, it's perfect. But if you want like nice, if you want movements, nice clean movements and stuff, gimbal is perfect for that.
Yeah.
It depends on how you want the shot. So
Yeah, thanks. I mean, that seems pretty reasonably priced too.
at the end of the day, you just got to make sure like what kind of movements you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree that it'd probably be a steady camera or a gimbal for that. Since you're doing two different kind of movements, it'd just be
Yeah.
setting up a dolly and a slider, or a dolly with a crane, because that's really hard to get. I think it's hard to get done right, and it takes like more sturdy dolly and stuff to be able to hold all that without falling over. So it's more expensive equipment.
I didn't know about the
Yeah.
segment movements, so that's why I assumed that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but then like as he's holding her and like trying to quiet her down, it would be like showing from the front. Like I thought that would be a pretty like straightforward, like slow push in with the dolly, because
But
it's
with
just
a
going
dolly,
forward.
with a dolly track, couldn't you make it like straight across? Jorge, Daniel, couldn't you make it straight across and then like kind of curve towards the characters, and just have the characters be in the right spot at the right time?
You mean like a sort of an arc kind of thing?
Yeah, I've seen like the dolly that goes around in a circle to do an arc. So if you just did like straight for a bit, but then arced it towards the characters, wouldn't that get the shot?
You would have to have the track in the way that you want the movement, or else you would have to use a crane to make
exactly.
that happen.
Gotcha.
The crane on top of the dolly. But yeah,
And,
for those types of movements and like on a budget, it's easier to use a gimbal.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Could you just like a refresher on what the difference is between a Steadicam and a gimbal?
Steadicam is the big, huge, it's more expensive equipment you attach to your body, and it doesn't have to be, Steadicam is like this. You attach it to your body, it has like a body thing, and then it has this pole and this long thing with weights on it that holds down, and it kind of like counterbalances the thing to keep everything steady.
Yes, that it won't see like up and down when you're walking.
Gimbal's like a small version of like kind of this similar, and usually it needs to be like adjusted. It's usually an electronic thing that you have to adjust before shooting to make sure that it knows what the balance should be. And then any movement you give it, it'll try to counteract it with, I don't know if it's all like, if it's mechanical partially and also digital partially, but it's like it tries to counterbalance whatever movement you're doing to keep it steady, however you
But the
told.
thing is,
Okay.
they're pretty hard to balance sometimes.
Yeah,
Like-
it took a while to get used to, I've heard.
Like I
There's
own.
maybe a
But there's like
Sorry.
different kinds too. So you have like this double-handled one, or you just have like a single one.
yes, maybe
Yeah,
a
the ones that
gimbal would
you're
probably be
seeing on
better
the
for.
screen, yeah, the ones that you're seeing on the screen are the ones that you're gonna see everybody on a budget use because they're electronic. So, and they compensate for the movements. So you can even like walk, you don't have to, it's important that you do the ninja walk when you're doing that. So it's not as bouncy, but they can still compensate for just regular walking. So you're gonna see everybody, like a lot of indie production companies using this type of setup that you're seeing on the screen, because it's like the most widely available, and it's like the sort of on a budget type of thing. It doesn't get any cheaper than using a glide cam, for instance, which is just a stick with a counterweight and two counterbalances on the bottom. But these guys you'll see everywhere, and these are the ones that even people like in commercials, yeah, that's a glide cam. So it doesn't have to be on a steady cam. The steady cam is normally worn by somebody else that's a professional that has been trained to use that. That's the one that I used to make my movie with, because the camera was heavy, and there was a motor too that was with his AC who was pulling the focus. So it had to be like transmitted, but it's a whole thing. It's easier to have, like, if you're on a budget and you're making something that's not at a professional level and you're not spending a lot of money on that, it's easier to just go with the gimbal.
Yeah.
Which
yeah, I'm seeing that
DJI
now.
makes a lot of those. They're the one that I'm selling. It's the Scion Crane, and all those guys are going to give you amazing stability. You just, like, the bigger brands are Scion, DJI, which makes the Ronins, and all those guys.
So yeah, so it sounds like a gimbal would probably be better for like shot 14, I think.
Yeah, like a smaller.
Or 13. Because I did change it a little bit from what I did in the storyboard, just because I wasn't quite sure how to draw it in the storyboard. I wanted it to be more of like an extreme close-up going from Michael's face to Arlene's face before she bites his hand. And so yeah, that would probably be a good gimbal would be a good device to use for that.
Well, since they're both in the same area for that shot, it could just be like a slider or something.
Yeah, but I mean, I would imagine that he would be taller than her. So it wouldn't be going entirely horizontally.
Right, but when you have a slider, you can also do like tilting and panning with the camera.
Oh, okay.
So you could also just tilt it down a little bit as you're going. But yeah, I mean, that's why you have these different tools, because they can do similar things, but there's also very specific things that each tool can do. So it just depends, really.
Yeah, and I was also wondering, like, for the like for when you want to do a master shot and it's kind of like showing like the whole room, so you want it at kind of a high angle, like you can just get like a really high tripod, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe even put it on a table.
Yeah, you could even put the tripod on a table if it's wide enough.
Like the tripod I just got off George, technically, it can be a tripod, and it also can be a steady cam as well. A steady tripod. It's a really good tripod. I got 2 of them now. But it's like it would be a good thing to have, even especially for something like this type of shot. But also when you're basically doing shots like from a tripod from high distance, you gotta basically account, it's like you gotta get a ladder or something, because if you're too tall, it's not gonna turn out that pretty. Sometimes you'll have too much headroom, sometimes you won't have enough headroom.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But even working on a ladder with that, it's annoying as heck, because you got to be careful. that you don't like hurt yourself.
Yeah. I was also keeping in mind with like character ID, I was assuming that that means like it's more for when you know that you need the actors themselves to be there.
Yeah, for the shot.
Yeah.
So actually, is this Arlene's hair in this shot in number 8?
Yeah, so exactly. So I just wrote him because it could be like a stand-in for her. We don't necessarily need her there.
True, but you'd
Like
need
if you're not showing their facial characteristics and they already have a double if they perhaps can't make it that day. I was just thinking
then
like
you
that.
just got to make sure the hair's very similar, and you have
Yes.
someone that's able
Take
to.
pictures of the day when you have the talent there, so you can copy their back completely.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I did draw it a little specific, but yeah.
Yeah, if it would be cheaper, I would just say most likely it's better to just use the actors so you can over the shoulder. You don't have to
Okay.
you don't have to find a new person and all of that. But it depends on how, if it's a big name person, then yeah, it might be cheaper to just not have them there. Have them there as least as possible and have somebody else stand in for them, matching their hair almost completely if you can.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what the IDs are for. It's just like ID number 1 is Arlene, ID number 2 is Michael, and then you just see who's needed in each shot, and that's when you make your shooting.
Well, yeah, well, for instance, like see, like shot number 9, like that's just showing like his shoulder or like a very like small amount of him.
Mhm.
Oh no, not 9 on the far left, the F column.
Oh, this one, yeah.
So like theoretically, it could be someone else, but ideally you would want to use the actual actors.
Right. Because then you can also have them act off each other during the takes. It's a little like whatever his movements are, they need to be matched from his angle on the shot. If he takes a step back when she's doing that, or if he tries to move forward, you want to kind of give it that same movement a little bit, so then you can cut, and it's a lot easier to transition between cuts when you're editing. But yeah, like you said, you can just have somebody else. If you do have a stand-in that's able to do it, they can just copy the movement of whatever actor is actually doing the character. Mel?
Oh, sorry. I thought I had unmuted and then I didn't. Yeah, no, I was saying thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about. I mean, that's about all I have to say on it. Like, if you had any comments on it, like, did I do it mostly like good?
Yeah, you did. I would just say to not cause confusion, I would say not to do multiple different things in one.
Okay, but then what? So then instead of that, how would I make the shot numbers?
You would still keep the shot numbers the same. Like shot number 1 would be the opening part, and this is where the shooting schedule comes in, where you're going to realign your shots, not based on the story, based on where the camera is. So then if the last shot and the first shot is this wide angle or whatever, and once Michael tries to do his hands, it's that same angle, you're going to say, okay, we're going to do shot number 1 and shot number 17 at the same time. That way.
Okay, well, in that case, I probably made like, so there's 16 like shots, but I probably made like 30 cuts.
Right.
Yeah.
To not cause confusion and make sure you're getting all of the stuff done, I would just say separate it and make it a different shot. And then you're in the shooting schedule, realign it to where it makes the most sense logistically. So that, we're going from take 1 where they walk in to take 30 or not take, sorry, shot 30 where he just killed her and he's crying. So then the actors have to really like jump back and forth, but that's just how it is on a film set.
Okay, so shot is different from take, and it's also, so shot is more like with editing in mind.
Yeah, shots like wherever the camera is and whatever's happening within the scene of that moment in the scene.
Right, but I'm just saying that like if it's like, yeah, if you're cutting to that shot multiple times, even though it is all just that same shot, that same camera angle, and you haven't moved it at all, and you haven't changed the camera at all.
But it's a different shot because it's a different story moment.
Yes. Okay.
So
So
even though
that
the
is what
camera
shot
angle-
number means.
camera
That is what I was
angle-
kind of like not sure about.
Gotcha. Because even though the size, angle, and movement are the same, it is a different shot because it's the end of the sketch, the end of the short instead of the beginning, like the first scene. Even though they're the same, same angle and all that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So then so then how important is it in the shot list to like how to arrange that?
In the shot list, it depends on if you're going to have if the shot list is all you're going to have and that's all you want to bring. It just depends on whatever process you use, but some people just use a shot list and then you want to kind of order it how you would when you're shooting it, and have like this little check mark box right here so you can check it off as you go. But if you have a shooting schedule, you can just take this information, line it up like you have, depending on the story, and then actually go through it and be like, okay, but this is on this side of the room and it's the wide, so we might start with that and then we'll close in, and because this is from the same side of the room, we might do this shot next, and then you kind of order it through that based on like where the lights will be, the camera will be, and how easy it'll be to move that stuff around.
Yeah. And for how long you're rolling every shot as well, for the duration of the scene.
Yeah.
Did you say, Mel, that it's you have 30 shots?
Well, yeah. So 16 different camera angles, but yeah, like I cut it.
How long is the scene? How many pages?
It's
like
2.25 pages.
Well, it's 1.25.
2.25.
2.25. That's 30 shots for 2.5 pages. You know how long
so
it's gonna take you?
it's like using each shot. It's using each camera angle twice. About twice.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't want to do the thing where you do an entirely different camera angle every time because I wanted there to be some kind of continuity of consistency. Also, this would have been a good thing to bring up during the storyboard because I completely broke it down when I was doing the storyboard, like just where it was going to cut back and forth. But yeah,
no, it's cool. I mean,
I accept that. I accept that criticism.
This is how you want to tell your story. If you want to make 122 shots for a 1 minute scene, that's okay.
I don't
it's
think
kind
it's
of like an overkill. But you have to be aware that
sorry, I can't really hear you guys both at the same time.
Oh, sorry.
It's gonna take you time for each shot. It's every setup is gonna take time. So if I wouldn't say that it's really time, it's cost effective, making 16 shots on a 2-page scene. It's kind of overkill, but of course it's your story and you want to tell it however you want. But I'm just telling you that it's gonna take you a long time to have that happen, because it's like you have to be more economical with how you're using your shots, and think about holding some shots for longer, because if you do that, then you allow the audience to like get involved in a story. Whereas if you go from shot to shot to shot to shot to shot, then it's distracting. It could be distracting for the audience. I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at it as a criticism, Mel. I would look at it more just like, this is like how he analyzes it. I would feel like it depends a lot on the story. If you want that feel of like scattered and static and like, not scattered, that's not the right word. If you want the feel of like constantly in motion and intense, which is what the story kind of can have, like at the end of the day, it's your call. But I do understand his point as well as like of thinking of like lighting and setup and all this kind of stuff, and like what can we do to make it so that we shoot as many similar looking shots so we don't have to move the cameras as much, or so that every shot flows into the other and it's like a cohesive story. So I understand where he's coming from. I'm just letting you know, don't look at it as a criticism. Look at it just
Oh yeah, I do too. I just kind of wish that it had been brought up when I was showing my storyboard. Cause like
because Jorge wasn't here and he didn't bring up that point, I don't think.
I don't think I was there.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, you can still make the adjustments necessary
and like I totally
make that happen, and that's the good thing, because right now you have time to make those adjustments. You're not like in pre-production and you're not about to start, so you can make those adjustments right now. This is the cheapest part. This is the cheapest moment that you can make the adjustments at.
I feel like it must depend, because like I feel like Coda, didn't we get like 14 to 16 as well?
Yeah, Coda had 14 different shots.
Yeah,
but he just didn't cut as much, I think.
It was more like a back and forth situation. It is also much easier to see it in the storyboard. So I feel like when you look at the size, 17, you're like, whoa, that's a lot. But if you look at the storyboard, depending on the storyboard, you won't even notice, because it will just be like back and forth, you know, and at the end of the day, you'll set up to do like 6 different shots, which will really just be that back and forth, and then set up again to do the other 6 shots, you know?
Yeah, honestly, I'm also kind of imagining the scene at a slower pace. Than like I imagine like the hug lasting for a few seconds, at least a few seconds, and stuff like that, and her like shocked expression probably lasts for a couple seconds. So I imagine that it's gonna be a bit longer than 2 minutes. Actually to be shot out.
I think it's probably going to be longer than 2 minutes too, with everything that's going on in the script. And some scenes are bound to be more drawn out. I'm sorry if it feels like we threw this on you, because like we, first of all, like Jorge threw this on you, not we.
What the heck?
I'm kidding.
What was that?
No, but he made an interesting point that we always should consider. But at the end of the day, I think it very much depends on what your shots are, because it can look like a lot and then you get there and really it's just more of, well, the camera's in the same spot, it's just a back and forth.
Well, it's not just about that. Jorge was also talking about like for the final product, if it's 2 minutes and it's doing, well, she said 30 shots. So if it's doing 30 shots in 2 minutes, then that's every few seconds, it's switching. And instead of staying on it, letting the people see what's going on.
But we're sorry, we didn't.
Point. Jorge's is
we
that
probably didn't mention that. We're really sorry, Mel. Like that's our bad. Like we were.
I just don't imagine it. I have a hard time imagining it going for 2 minutes in my head. Like it seems more like a 4-minute scene, honestly.
Are you sure it's 2 minutes, honey? The script?
No, it's just 2 pages. Like
the script is 2.25 pages, and typically a page translates to a minute.
Generally,
like I have an idea.
Depends on how much action is happening within the scene. Because
because there's a lot of action in it. I cannot see
it to write out than it is to film most of the time.
I have an idea that might be helpful here.
But in the
go ahead. Oh wait, what's
you could possibly grab a movie with a similar scene that you envision it to be the pacing and everything, and like, you know, a domestic violence scene, or, you know, a gun being drawn, and anything really that has the pacing that you imagine, and look at it for 2 minutes and see how many cuts they make, and go off that as kind of a template for envisioning what you actually envision.
Yeah, because I feel like mine has 16 shots. I'm pretty sure, thinking about it now. And it's mostly back and forth. And then it has, like, the action scenes, they do linger a little longer. And then the scene of her falling is quick, but the emotional scenes linger longer. Sorry, it's the opposite. So I really can't imagine it being 2.5 minutes either.
Yeah, no, I even had it in my head that like I was gonna cut down from how many cuts I was doing. Like, for instance, I don't really need shot number 8, honestly. I would probably be better with like a different kind of like another different kind of over the shoulder kind of setup.
Yeah.
Rather than like cutting back and forth from 7 to 8. And like, yeah, I think most of the cutting like happened like towards the end, like from 9 onward when the action was ramping up.
Yeah, I feel like I went back and forth at first and like slow burn and then boom. Like you find it out and you're like, what? And then everything starts going.
Yeah, them action scenes. And even like some movies you watch and you see some of the action scenes and it's like sometimes it's way too much cutting. It was like you get so confused with the fighting. You're like, all right, it's too much going on.
Yeah, and that's what I was. I mean, my amount of cutting was out of a concern that it would be get confusing as to where the characters were in the room, which is why I wanted to cut back to the master shot a couple times just to reorient the audience.
Hey, Jorge and Daniel, do you guys have like a general rule of thumb of like how many takes you usually use if it's a minute, like an actual minute of screen time? I know it depends on what the project is and what the scene entails, but generally speaking, like, do you have like this should be 5 seconds per shot or something like that?
Again, it depends. To me, at least, it depends on the type of shot. If there's action in it and stuff like that, like how many shots I usually do? I usually about do 3 or 4 shots, 1 for safety, 3 at most, and then I basically just like. I also like it depends. It really depends on a lot of different variables. How much dialogue is in the scene, in this, and everything.
See, this is why I like storyboards a little bit better, just because like right now it looks like a lot, but remembering her storyboard, it didn't feel like that.
But I'm the type of guy that has shot like over 100 shots in one day.
Mm-hmm.
Like my record now.
Is it like depends on the like action, you're saying like action scenes, right? So you want to try to stay away from. It depends on the action,
the dialogue, everything.
So in rule of thumb, if you're now shooting or being a novice, you want to kind of like stay away from too much action in the beginning until you kind of
But action but usually action can be quicker shots than, let's say, dialogue.
Yeah, I actually read a book. I don't know if it was a book or a video that we were watching or reading, but they did mention that dialogue scenes can take longer than action scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
You have more acting involved, like more dialogue, more lines to remember. You have a back and forth. The camera going back like a shooting. Sorry, Dana, go ahead.
Let's say example, like Tom Cruise is jumping through a window. That's one take right there. Jumps through the window. With someone talking back and forth, that can last up to like 30 seconds to 90 seconds.
Yeah.
So with a jumping through a window, that's like 20 seconds right there. But again, you got to think everything through and how it's going to be shot, the different angles. If you're going to have an action shot, then it's 3 different cameras on there. Like, because you want to get that in one take.
But you probably, with like an independent film, it probably would be harder to get like multiple cameras. So you probably, if you're working
at this
single camera.
Back in the day, I would agree with you, but now not so much, because look at even my phone shoots in 4K.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like if you're working with a single camera setup, and like, you have to like work it out that way. But if you're working with a single camera.
But that's the day that you should rent more than one camera. You should rent an extra camera on that day.
Yeah.
Because what do you think?
Well, It's just like Daniel said. It really depends on the type of. It depends on the genre. It depends on what type of story you want to tell. And as we were talking about the scene, it's if it's a breakup, it depends on how fast
Oh,
you
honey, it's
want
more than
to
a
make.
break.
It's not the breakup. This was the practice scene I sent out to do the storyboards with, where the guy.
Oh yeah, I read it.
That he's killed
Yeah.
her husband.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. That's more than a breakup.
Yeah,
He
there's.
breaks up
I
with
think
her.
for me when I read it, of course, and this is of course my my imagination. I wouldn't say that it takes it needed so many takes, but that's so many shots. But that's of course that's me because you need to keep. You can use cuts to move the action forward, but the problem is that it can really be disorienting for people. And one of the things, and addressing that part, which I heard Mel say a couple of minutes ago, the audience doesn't get lost as fast as you think. It's very hard for people. I don't have any recollection of somebody saying, or myself saying, well, you know what, I'm lost after I saw the initial setup of things. It's very hard for the audience to get lost when you place the actors and there's like things that are memorable in the background. It's hard for me to explain this in detail because I mean I would like to explain this in detail because but it's gonna run long. But you don't have to worry too much about the audience getting lost. It's more about the story, and you'll see that you don't really need that much cutting to tell a story. And again, it's your prerogative to do whatever you want. You can take 3 months and make a 1 minute film, and that can happen, you know. But in order to create something that is something that you can show and that you can be proud of, it needs to come from a place where you know that the story that you're telling is it's more important that you tell the story not from a place where of fear, when you're thinking, fuck, I'm not gonna have enough footage. It's really more about sitting down and playing the story in your head and seeing how much you really want to hold each scene, each little bit, and then moving backwards and forwards when you have this whole scene set up in your head, and how you can see it in your head, and because that's what ultimately you're going to use. So it really depends on you. It's totally something that's going to come from inside of you, and the pacing and the amount of footage that you're going to need. But you don't really need to copy anybody, or you don't really need to. It's something that you, as long as you can imagine that, you can make that happen, and it can be in 100 setups or 2, as simple as that.
Yeah, cool.
Like you said,
Jorge, I really value your feedback as someone with experience. Thank you.
Ouch.
Ouch.
What?
That hurt a lot. Wow.
What happened? It
Broke
was too
everybody
loud?
out here.
That hurt me too. Like, what am I,
Yeah, like
chocolate already?
she
It's not
values
like we
his
didn't give
feedback.
feedback either.
She
I
values
could give
his feedback.
feedback.
He has experience. We're
Wait,
we're
I'm
not
sorry.
there.
I'm really confused. Okay, first I thought I was speaking too loud. No.
See, this is the camera stuff we be talking about. See, this is exactly what we're talking about with the camera.
We're only
Too many shots.
We're teasing.
No, I was just saying. Okay, I was just saying that because I was really leading, because I felt like I was really leaning into Jorge. Because
No,
he was the first person to say something slightly negative.
We're just it's okay.
You still don't
I'm just kidding.
We're just kidding. We really do appreciate Jorge here, because we're trying to learn as much as we can, but it is different from having that experience. That on-set experience.
Like, I feel like everyone has a different perspective on it, so it's good to hear from all the different perspectives of what they think, and then and then you come up with your own conclusion. Like, I like that part of what Jorge said, but I like that part of what Daniel said. So I'm gonna mix those two together. And
yeah, because I do think it does
like,
depend on the story you're telling, because sometimes a lot of shots with a purpose can create that constant, like the camera's always moving, something's always happening, like on the edge of your seat kind of feeling as well, because I've seen movies
or
like that.
you can do a not one take, but you can do like a single take and just have the camera slightly move in, and that also creates movement. So
exactly. So it really depends on the vibe you're going for, the story you're telling.
like,
you know,
again, if it's action or if it's basically just a love story, it all changes. But love stories do take an extra couple minutes, but you gotta get different angles on it, but not too many.
Yeah.
Like, really, at the end of the day, like, you just gotta just look at the scene and just look at it from the audience point of view, but you also gotta be careful not to have too many chefs in the kitchen.
But maybe that's why a mix of a shot list and a storyboard is good, right? Because like I said, with the storyboard, it didn't seem like it was a lot.
But it
depends on each person's process, because some people, like Brian was talking about, how he doesn't like storyboards because it makes him feel like he has to get it exactly like that, or he's failing.
But it depends.
That's his process to say, no, I'll just have a shot list. But for me, I think I like having both, just because it shows me a visual representation and a like how many I have and all the details about it.
I feel like it's so easy for you to look at just the storyboard and be like, oh, that's not that many. And then you get to the shot list like now and we're like, wait, what? Because it really didn't seem like that many when we were doing ours. And maybe that's why we didn't see it, because with just the storyboard, it didn't seem like it was that many. I was like, oh, okay. And then once we actually get to the shot list, go ahead, Daniel, sorry.
No, I'm interrupting you, so.
Go ahead.
At the end of the day, it depends, like it just basically, it says how you're, like, if you're basically directing this, yes, have a shot list, have a storyboard. But if you're on camera and stuff, and you know how this is going to go, then you could basically just put the shot list in your mind, like, if you're shooting and directing it. But it depends on the director. Sometimes the director, it's like, they sometimes want to see a shot list. But I've worked on some projects, I didn't do a shot list, and I did the complete project without one, just because I knew how I wanted to shoot it. But I've also had arguments with directors, because it's like, we're only doing 4 shots this day, but why do we need a shot list? And I end up having...
Like we said, at the end of the day, it just depends on the person's method. Sometimes the shot list is during, sometimes it helps them plan it out better. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it helps them, it makes them get in their head, like what Brian was saying. So I think it's very individual to each person.
Yeah.
I'd say it's also a bit difficult with the storyboarding when you don't have a location picked out already, because I had to come up with whatever the layout of the kitchen looked like. And I can't guarantee that the kitchen is going to look like that in real life.
Yeah, that was a point that that's exactly why they also said, don't be too stuck on exactly how the storyboard is going to look.
Right.
Have sort of like
that you actually get a shoot at, and it's very skinny, and you don't have enough wide room to do all these movements back and forth horizontally or something. So
some people just use it as a what do you call it? That thing.
Placeholder.
Foundation.
That foundation, yes, that's what.
Okay.
Some people use it as a foundation, or just like a placeholder to give them an idea of what they want or what could work. But yeah, I can see the difficulties with it.
Yeah, and honestly, if I was doing this, I would probably cut out like 6 of these. I mean, because I would be in person and be like, well, I don't want to do this. And I'd cut out like 6 of them.
And I'm sure there could be like first drafts and second drafts of a storyboard or of a shot list before you actually get to set, just to like see
you can
it.
always change it beforehand. Like that's
But don't change it on the day, because that'll frustrate
Definitely
everyone.
not.
Oh yeah. No.
I've had directors do that to me last minute. It's like, okay, we're gonna nix this one and nix this. I'm like, really? Why? Why couldn't you tell me this last night?
Yeah, that's
And
that just makes production slow down because everybody has to refigure out things.
they end up having the main actor walk out on them because they did that. Because the actor was looking forward to some of those shots, and now it's not going to happen, so they just walked away.
Mm.
It was a volunteer set, but still.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, Mel, about the confusion. Like I said, I think it was just us like not seeing it full picture yet, and also like having different opinions is really important and good. Hopefully you don't completely discard our opinion now because of it.
No, see, I was apologizing to Jorge because I felt that it sounded like I was discarding his opinion. So I don't know why it felt like an insult to you.
No, it didn't, honey. I'm just joking.
You could have messaged him that personally.
No,
I could have, but then I'm always
joking.
thinking about what people who watch the video are going to think.
Jorge is like the grandfather.
Me and Brent are very sarcastic.
I know Brent is.
Yeah,
and you don't say I am.
Jorge is like the grandfather, and Daniel is like the younger potty one. He's Jorge is like Yoda and
the cool uncle.
Huh?
Like the cool uncle?
No. As far as like explaining, the way Jorge explains is a little different. Everybody have their way of explaining.
How am I the student?
In ways of explaining.
Age, bro. Age has everything. Jorge has been around for a couple of decades. How old are you, Daniel?
You're
25?
32 now.
30.
You're a young buck, buddy. Stay in your lane.
Jorge's photo does not look. I mean, Jorge's photo looks very young.
I am.
Jorge, I was joking about your age.
Yeah, I know.
You don't have to share it. We're not shaming you into that.
Yes. Priscilla, how old are you? 42?
No, I'm 35, my friend.
Oh.
Yeah? I mean,
we already know Priscilla's old.
All right, but anyway,
excuse me,
guys. Let's get back to the
Just, I appreciate all feedback. There you go.
For real, like, we'll get
so bottom line question, right? So it all depends, like you guys were saying.
Look, Cody, you're gonna have fun time editing this.
I'm gonna leave it all in.
So it all depends on what type of story you have, if it's action, all these different variables, right? So when do you decide, well, you know what, I need to cut out some of this? This is where you see a production happening, or they have a script and they cut out a whole scene because it's too many shots, or like you guys were talking about earlier, trying to keep the continuity in the scene going, but then you realize that it's too much shots, and it might, because you could have a story, and then when you start shooting it, it might not mesh with the story, right?
Doesn't match.
That's why they say like the script is the first story, then you get into actually shooting it, and you make the next movie, and then you get into editing it, and you make the next movie. So it's like 3 different variations of the movie. So you could kick out a scene at the end in editing. This happens a lot in movies because they see either the movie's dragging on too long, they wanted it to be within a certain time frame, especially if you're working with like a production company. They usually have these numbers that are like, people's attention spans last for this long for this type of movie. It needs to be an hour, 45 minutes or something, or 2 hours and 15 minutes is the max you can go. And so then these people, if they've shot like 3 hours, 4 hours worth of stuff, have to kick out a bunch of scenes and figure out where they want to cut and what they actually need to put in there to keep the story flowing. Or they might just get into editing and realize that this scene doesn't actually work like I thought it would. It's really boring. I thought it would be more interesting to this, and it doesn't add anything to the story, so I'm kicking it out.
Yeah, sometimes the scene can look completely different.
That's why you have those color schemes that we were talking about before, where they use like blue and pink and all these different color schemes to say edits with the script, because during production they might change a line that changes something in the future of the script, or the actor and the character, the actor and the director might talk about it and discuss like that something needs to be different about the character, so you have to rewrite some stuff in there, or you know, like this scene doesn't make sense to the story or to the character, and then they like rewrite it along the way. So that can also happen, but it's usually on like longer sets. If you have a short film, there shouldn't be too many rewrites, because you should have pretty much everything discussed beforehand, especially if it's a low budget, because you know it's going to cost more money to get on set and then figure out, oh, we need to change stuff.
Yeah, because sometimes you can have an idea of how something's going to look in your head, and then you actually see it on set, and you're like, oh, that's not how I imagined it at all, or that doesn't fit in the story anymore, because your rewrites, the story is like, it doesn't match anymore. It's a completely different beast.
But that's also why for stuff like this, not usually, but sometimes they'll have like the shots, they'll go through, you know, more than just this part where Michael shushes Arlene while she struggles. He might start this shot from this angle, this eye level and everything, for, you know, like 30 seconds before that, and wait for 20 seconds after. That way they have more to edit with than just that way. If they get into editing and they have too many takes or too little takes, they have,
or sometimes
they have more footage, or they can cut out more footage and just have different shots to make it make sense.
Yeah, so sometimes they'll try shooting the thing multiple ways as well to see which one works better.
It really depends on the process, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's better to have more shots than you need than less.
Right, but then you have to make sure that that same footage for the scene is in another shot.
And there's enough time to have that extra footage as well, which is another reason why we were talking about the other week, is have extra time always in your schedule for those.
You might have somebody that thinks that, oh, I think this would be better shot this way. Like if you have a DP that wants to shoot it a certain way, if you don't have time, you just have to tell them no. But if you do have time after the fact, you can be like, okay, let's try that thing you talked about. And then you get to editing and you might like it better. Or you might say, no, that doesn't work. The thing I had initially works. And so then you just use that. But at least you take it into account instead of being like, sorry, I can't do that, which is going to happen. But it's always better to have more time to be able to experiment, really.
Yeah. Honey, before we continue, I just wanted to make it clear. Mel, I'm sorry if it sounded like I got upset. I did not. I just joke around sometimes. And I have a really bad habit with my sarcasm. I kind of like the uncomfortable sarcasm a little bit. And sometimes I find myself doing it, and I know it can make people think that I'm upset. So I'm not. I was just joking. Okay.
Don't do it again.
I will say it would have if Brent was doing it, I think it would have been a little more obvious because he does that all the time.
Yeah, I only do it with people.
She's trying to be like me. It's okay. She's trying to be like me.
He's a copycat.
I only do it with people I'm comfortable with. So the more comfortable I become with someone, the more you see my sarcastic side a little bit. So I'm sorry if I scared you.
I'm somewhat sarcasm blind sometimes. So
no, it's fine. It's fine. I'll be more careful with it. It's just the more uncomfortable I become with someone, the more I start letting those sides of my personality out.
You let your true self come out.
I am glad you're comfortable with me. Thank you.
Seeing if it works or not. But if it's okay, I won't do it anymore. I'm sorry.
Yes, don't do it. Leave it to one person. Thank you.
I'll leave it to
Leave
Brent,
it to the professionals.
the king of sarcasm over there.
All right, guys. Anyway.
I just wanted to make that clear. I didn't want her to, leave thinking.
Do you want to finish your any other questions or anything about your shot list?
I'm good. Yeah. I mean, if you don't, yeah. I mean, I was just asking, if you guys had anything, and I think y'all done. So.
Yeah. So when we do the shooting schedule exercise, you just take this information, the stuff from your storyboard, and the new information about maybe too many shots, and decide if you want to kick some out. And then you just reorganize it in a way that would make the most sense, logistically speaking, so that the production can happen as quick as possible. It's as effective and I can't think of efficient. That's what I'm thinking of. It's as efficient as possible so that you can get it done. And that's what we'll be doing next. So that's going to be August 9th. That'll be due. So just use this information. It's kind of set up the same way as this, but you're just going to reorganize it in a different way and kind of think about like lunch and, you know, breaks and all of that type of stuff. And you're going to put that in and see if you can fit it all within a day. And just remember, like the first, like since you have like 4 shots from the same angle, that first shot that you're using this angle with is going to take the longest to set up because you're setting up a brand new angle. And then when you shoot the other shots further in the story, since it's at the same angle, the same lighting and everything, it's not going to take like any time to set up. You might have to adjust some things depending on where the characters move within the frame, but it'll take way less time because you're already set up. And so that's something to think about in shooting schedule. Is just
can't some shots be taken at the same time?
All right, Jorge, thanks for coming. Thanks for your input. Appreciate you. Have a good one.
Thank you, Jorge.
What'd you say?
Can't some shots be taken at the same time?
What do you mean same time?
Well, like your master shot, like doesn't your master shot just kind of run through the whole scene while you're doing other shots?
No, usually you run through the whole scene with the master shot, and then you'll redo the scene with other shots if you're going to cover the whole thing with your master shot. Yeah. Because otherwise your camera's going to get in frame and your lighting and your sound are going to get in frame when you try to do the close shots and all of that.
Okay, right.
So usually what happens
doing it over a lot.
Yeah, usually what happens is kind of like a play where you just keep doing it over and over again, but you're doing it out of order because of how the lighting and the camera are set up. So like for this scene, since you're doing this, the last and the first shot in the same angle, you would actually be shooting that scene. If you're doing the whole scene through that master, you would shoot the whole scene with them doing it. And then I guess you wouldn't really need to, I guess if that's the case, you wouldn't need to do any more shots. Like you wouldn't have to film the next shots because it would be in the master. So if you felt like the whole scene was well done within the frame and everything, and they went to the right spots and everything, then you're good. You don't have to take any more shots of it. But
yeah, I guess I just thought that that's what the master is for. It's for like, I mean, that's what one person said at one point, like to always have a master to fall back on if you realize that there's a shot that you didn't get, then it's in your master.
Yeah. And that's why the actors need to remember to move the same way. Because if he's turned this way when he's grabbing her, and then you're trying to go to a close-up, and then you're trying to cut back to it, and he's not the same position, it messes up continuity and makes it obvious that it was shot differently. But as long as they're moving the right way, they acted it well out, and they did the whole scene throughout without breaking character or messing up, then you could pretty much, if you wanted to, use that for the whole scene. And that's a good way to use it to like go back and forth, like you said. If there's a mess up, if you see like the close up, oh no, the boom pole's in the background we didn't notice on set. Well, now you just cut to your master instead. It might not look as good, but it's gonna, that way you don't have to go reshoot everything pretty much.
Another thing I was thinking of is on a short scene like this that's action packed, it might be really smart to take a master shot all the way through. And what you were saying about the continuity thing kind of could be a problem. I agree, but if you actually were on set and you took the time as the director to watch the master shot through, that could solve a lot of, it could give you ideas of where to shoot your close-ups and everything so that it doesn't become a problem with continuity.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think having a master, especially if you can, I think having a master is a good way to go, just to make sure you like the one that runs through the whole scene, just for that very reason, so that you can always have something to cut to. Even if there is continuity errors, it might be better to cut to that than to, like, depending on how big the continuity error is. Like, oh, the cup's moved. Like, well, they're not going to notice that hopefully as much as, if the characters are in a different position. But if it's just like a cup move to a different position or something, it's always good to have backup in case something doesn't work as planned in the edit. So yeah, but yeah, so you just want to think of all that. You want to think of how you'll shoot it, and just like each new setup, it's not going to take us long once you set up on this side of the room. Whatever shot from this side of the room, whether it's closer to the characters or not, if the camera's from the same area of the room, pointing the same direction, then it'll take less setup time. If you're closing in on a character, all you have to do is move the lights a little closer or something, and that way you still got it. But then when you do a reverse or from a different angle, you have to move the camera, you have to set up the lights again, and you have to do the sound and make sure nothing's in frame. And that's when it takes a long time again, which is why you set it up out of order.
Yeah, thinking about it, yeah, the master shot would probably be more in line. It's the same angle as like the second half of the scene. Once she steps away from Michael and goes toward the counter, because the master shot is facing the counter.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would probably do the master shot and then the second half of the scene from that side, and then the first half of the scene from like 90 degrees. More where the door is.
And so yeah, you'll just when we're doing the shooting schedule, you just take all that information and just think about it like that. Now that you've thought about it from a story point, now you think about it from a shooting point, and you get to, kind of, I don't know, adjust how long you feel like it'll take. I would say like give it 30 minutes to an hour for the very first setup. I would say maybe like an hour, and then after that, all the setups are shorter. But the very first one's always going to be the longest, just because all the cameras and all the lighting actually have to be set up. So then after that, if you can pull it off in a day, it's going to be less time for every other shot after that, even if it is a reverse. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And what was
I do feel a little bad about taking up so much time.
What?
No, like the time that we had was for discussion, and this is a discussion. So
yeah, but other people have things to get to.
I
mean, wasn't someone else going to show their shot list too?
I think I sent you Sarah's, honey. Did it not arrive?
Oh wait, this? No, that's not it.
Sarah's was above mine. Well, on the
this one.
I sent the picture of George and I.
Did I not send it?
Or Jorge and I.
Oh, whoops! I'm downloading like 4 of them. No wonder.
Did you? If you don't have it, let me know.
Are you still here?
Yes.
Nope.
I am.
Oh, it is.
Oh, Sarah's not here?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Crap. Let me go.
I think this is hers, right?
She's.
Let me see.
She had to go like an hour ago.
If that's someone else's, then yeah, I think it's hers because I got it all off WhatsApp.
All right. Well, yeah, she did it right. It looks like she does like the storyboard. The references are storyboard, shot numbers. They're all interior. She puts what kind of shot they are. Close up, wide shot, medium shot. All eye level. Well, an eye level at a bird's eye view wouldn't make sense.
No.
Because it'd be bird's eye view or eye level. But
so Danielle, that's
a shot that moves.
Sorry?
Oh, it could be a shot that moves.
What was that, Priscilla?
Going up or down.
That's a tip you can give her since she's not here. Just be like, oh yeah, that.
Unless she's meaning that it goes like she said, unless it's meaning that it goes from one to the other. But all she says is pan out, so I don't know.
Maybe ask her. Do you want me to ask her?
It would be dolly.
Oh, she has no internet right now.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Her internet's down at her house right now.
Yeah, but you want me to like text her in the WhatsApp and wait for her to respond, honey, or what?
That takes internet, doesn't it?
That's fine.
No,
yeah,
it's not for me. She'll
it takes a
respond
lot
when she
less
sees
internet.
it. She'll respond when she has internet. Like I'll send it now so I don't forget, and she'll see it when
she should get a text. Unless she was able to call you. She got data.
I just want to say,
they're Canadian, like
pan in
and recording,
dolly in, or zoom in, and pan out would be either dolly out or zoom out, depending on what kind of look you're going for.
Can you write it in the chat and I'll send it?
Okay.
Thank you. And I'll send it when she has internet. You can see it.
If it were turning from an eye level into a bird's eye, that would need to be a tilt, right?
Yeah, it would need to be a tilt and a dolly out.
But it's hard to remember all the references. So
right, which is why the quiz is going to happen next week.
Wait, oh, I thought it was this Thursday.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, this
I was gonna say, what the heck, honey?
this week.
Teacher's pet.
Anybody else have any thing they're catching from this? Anything that we need to bring up?
Can't really see it, unfortunately. It's like too zoomed out.
Let me see if I can.
Yeah, it's always like that on the phone. When you're on a computer, it's bigger.
Yeah, I mean, normally I do it on my iPad where I can zoom in, but since I was sharing my screen, this is on a laptop and I cannot zoom in.
And after recording, I want to say some crazy news about my project coming up.
Hey.
Can everyone see it now? That is as big as
yes, I can.
So you can see it. It just looked like, oh yeah, I can see it now. I need Priscilla eyes right now.
What? Why do I need my blind eyes?
Your glasses, I meant to say.
I was gonna say my eyes aren't gonna help you much, bud. Barely help me.
You're fine.
What does she mean by push shot?
I think she means like push in, maybe? Push
Pan
out?
in?
That's not a type of shot, though.
Oh, push,
like
no.
probably push out. The
Push
one
out, yeah.
14. I'm pretty sure that she meant push out.
Push out. Yeah, push out shot. Maybe like kind of.
Like probably a pan out. It's probably a pan.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No, but it's not under the camera movement. It's under shot type.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh wait, where?
Third one down.
Yeah.
14.
And then she has static. Oh, she mixed it up. It looks like because static is under the camera move. For number 3.
Unless she's getting from a view from a bird.
Right. Well, then it wouldn't be
Eye level
It
bird.
wouldn't be eye level if that's the case.
Unless it's a bird's eye level.
Well, then it's a bird's eye view. That's literally what it means.
But where is the bird? That's the question.
we brought one in from another country. It's a penguin now.
Birds fly the same. Oh, okay. Well, not all birds, but like most flying birds fly.
No, there's some birds that we have here. Like we have a
penguin's eye view.
No, I was gonna say no. Most flying birds.
Static should be either eye level.
Maybe it's the bird's eye is level.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Oh yeah, bird's eye view makes sense. It's like the one where it's like really high angle, like up in the sky, away from them, high angle. But it can't be eye level and the bird's eye view because eye level would be the eye level of the character. The camera would be at eye level. Unless you're doing movement like Mel was saying, it would need to be one or the other.
Unless we're using an eagle.
Even still. Unless the character is the bird.
Exactly. He is now the character. He's the chicken from Family Guy.
Anything else you guys see that's needs to be brought up or corrected? Or any comments or questions about it? Brazil, you can also tell her to watch the end of this so she can.
Let's take advantage of the fact that she's not here. No, I'm kidding.
No, 'cause you can watch
What's with the Russian voice?
I don't know. I don't think it was Russian. I don't know what I was going for.
It kind of sounded Russian.
Me and Coda just do weird voices sometimes.
Push.
I guess I'll just say that this is
close up push shots.
Say overhead shot. Okay, got it.
What's a push shot?
That's what everyone was asking. So, Sarah. Thank you.
No, for Sarah, and you can text these to her, Daniel, if you'd like.
That's so much work.
Jeez. Okay, fine. Then we'll wait till she has internet.
Literally, I'm so damn lazy right now.
But yeah,
Lakota, are you just writing these down to remember later?
Priscilla,
no, he's writing them down so I can copy them and send them to the group.
Isn't a push shot just where you like move the camera straight at the action?
That's what I was wondering. Like push it
Is there such a thing as a
Because
push
it kind of
shot?
makes
Dolly
sense
in.
for it to be that if you look at the description of the scene.
Be
It's
dolly
an,
in
it's
or-
if anything, it's an actor movement. If anything, it's not a camera movement.
Well,
Like
not
pushing.
necessarily.
No, it's like,
Because
well, the name of it would be either a zooming in or a pushing.
No, I mean for the talent. I don't mean for the
can't you
camera.
can't you create new names for different shots as you going on set? Some
No,
people have
No.
Everybody, go ahead.
I don't.
I think
No.
it's better to learn the names of the general things. That way, when you have outside of your local
like
area people coming to your
she
set,
probably
Because
They
she
I
don't-
feel
probably
like
got it mixed up
um,
because of me. Because I asked when I was doing the video with her, I'm like, could you push in, like push your face into the
See,
camera
that's a
more?
Canadian shit. I know it was that. Yeah, you're the
No,
no, I
like,
mean that's
I
a thing,
feel
but like
yeah,
but-
I
That's
feel
what
like
the actor's
No.
doing.
zooming
It's
yeah,
an
I feel like
actor-
general.
no, it's like I was saying, it's an actor movement, not a camera shot.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so that's what it could
So
be.
so she
Yeah.
probably got it mixed up from when I was directing her on that video.
Gotcha. That
also,
might.
Sarah, if you're watching this, good job. Like it looks like it's very organized and it's
Yeah,
good
nice
and everything. It looks
organized.
good. Just the one thing also I have to ask is pan left. You did mean like panning, which is like turning your head to the left, and not a trucking or sliding, which is taking the camera and physically moving it to the left, right? Otherwise, it would be a trucking shot. If you're talking trucking.
What's a quick question? What's a deadpan?
Is that in-
Where?
A
It's
deadpan is a facial expression. Is there a camera shot called a deadpan?
a description of shot. It says deadpan.
I've never-
Where? In this list?
Yeah, in
Never-
the list. 1, 2, 3. I think like the 12th down.
I think she just means pan, not
I don't
dead.
see it.
It
I
says
don't
deadpan.
see it.
It says Ardeline cries. No.
Yeah, it's a
this-
static shot, so it's I think describing the actors.
Oh,
I
it's in
guess.
the description column.
Oh, deadpan. Yeah, Michael's doing like he has no emotion. He's doing it.
Oh, his emotion.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's in the
a
description
dead-
of what's in the shot, then yeah.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha. We got confused. That was our. Sorry, Sarah. That was our bad. But yeah, it's an expression, like a facial expression, like his
Anyway,
deadpan.
Sarah, thanks for doing it. Thanks to everybody for doing the exercises. I think it's
Yeah, it looked. She
that
did a really
conversation
good job. It looks really organized and nice.
but yeah. So I think that's
Can we turn these exercises in late? I've just
that's
had a
what
lot
everyone's
going
doing
on
today.
I mean, yeah, this was
No,
the
I mean
day.
later than late.
They're like, oh,
Yeah, if you can send it in before the end of the semester, we'll probably be able to get to it because we don't have too much going on.
Even if you don't get to it, I just kind of want to do it, but
Oh yeah,
Also, you can like
Okay.
opt out to not do it at all.
Steven, I sent out an email with like the forms and what the projects are. Let me know. If
okay.
Let me know.
Question.
Yeah,
know
I have a way to look and figure out what I'm supposed to do through all your emails and everything. I just haven't really had time recently, so I'm just gonna have to.
It's not obligatory or anything, but anyone that wants to and like wants to just try it and learn.
Yeah, I might do some and not others. Like I kind of have a hard time with like the scene mimic exercises just because of I don't have a computer really to work with or green screen, but anything like this, like I can do. You know what I mean?
Quick question. This has nothing to do with this, but they screwed up on this crew list. I just realized
How so?
the director and the runner is the same person.
Oh yeah, you're right.
How is that possible?
It looks like they only have like 3 people.
Maybe they just
But-
all have the
But
same
how is a
name.
director a runner?
Right.
That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just both.
Director,
Maybe they just both have the same name.
Writer. Dang.
Is that same email and name?
I think they just use the same names over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you have two people with the same name. One's the director. That's why photos are important.
And
Nope,
sound
both have the
design.
Same email.
And sound design and stunt and Stafey is the same person too.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe
so
the
everyone-
director
everyone-
doesn't
this
have
is- guys,
anybody else to run for him.
this is a
so he's
skeleton
having to
crew,
run.
okay?
I've been there
There's like
before.
4 people on the set. Yeah.
This is a skeleton crew. They are doing a little bit of everything.
The director's like, I need this. Oh, I better go get it.
I need a coffee. Double.
Wait here. The
Turn-
director's going to get the gloves we need. I'll be right back.
It's like, I need a coffee. I need a triple or a double. Turns around, goes around into a 360. Yes, sir. I'm on my way.
Oh my. All right.
Turns back around.
All we
Questions
got
or comments
to
about
study
that?
this semester. If you want to do like Steven, anybody watching this video, if you want to do those exercises, feel free to. That's why we sent them out. But all we have.
Let's be real. No one's watching this far ahead. No, I'm kidding.
Wait.
All we have for Thursday is we're going to talk about the short film we're doing next semester, and we are doing the quiz. We'll start with the quiz, and if we have time, we'll talk about the short film. But other than that,
Woohoo!
that's all we got. So study.
Hey.
Even if you
learn.
can't
Still
like
got
make it, even if you can't make it in person, remember there will be some stuff that we'll try to do online, but also just to like have a feel of what we're working on, and maybe like in a few months your schedule changes. You don't know, so
You should have a one class based on the COVID restrictions.
Maybe.
well, hopefully those don't stick
I'm hoping
around.
those go
No,
away.
they're gonna stick around for a long time.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right.
Oh, you pessimist. Okay.
No, I
Also,
just
no, I
prepare
know.
her best.
I know.
next Monday, we're going to watch
I'm just like, dang it, half hope.
for acting.
I just want you to know if masks are required, I will definitely only do remote.
Yeah, I don't think, hopefully, I'm being an optimist on this one, guys. I'm hoping for the best. I think we'll be fine by November.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, but anyway, next Monday we're having a film. We're going to be watching a film based on acting. We're going to be watching it for the acting. You know,
Start sending in your nominations, people. Come on.
if it's on Netflix or Amazon or
HBO Max, honey.
those are the ones we have, and those are the ones we'll watch. Or
Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, and YouTube free.
YouTube.
Those are the ones.
But yeah, that's it, guys.
Wait, what is this that you guys are talking
We're going to be watching.
about? I'm sorry.
What? We're going to be watching a film next Monday.
So
Good acting.
it
has to be on Netflix.
Amazon Prime,
Oh, okay.
HBO Max, or YouTube free. And it's like we said, it doesn't have to win necessarily an award for acting, but it has to be known mainly for its acting, like renownedly known and all that.
That contradicted itself.
What? What'd I do?
It can't. It doesn't need to be known for its acting.
Oh,
but
it doesn't have to win any awards necessarily, but it has to be known for its acting.
Yeah,
There.
like maybe it was a
Okay.
runner-up or something, but it didn't get the award or whatever. Something like
Or
that.
maybe it was like a Leonardo DiCaprio movie and the Academy was just like, no, we're not doing it. Like back in the day before they
That's
came.
it.
and it